up and down. The ATMs were full. The road was really, really. Thursday was almost like the end of the world in Lagos. Everywhere was seriously a god.
So what is the feel of Lagos right now like? Is everywhere still busy or everybody's at home?
Well, Lagos, hustle and bustle everywhere. Right now, Lagos is like a quiet Port Harcourt. Really, really quiet. Everyone is indoor. If you're going out, if you leave your house, you go out. Where you're going to, you find another one is there, you go back home.
All right.
So it's not like they're forcing everyone to close down, but if you go out, you will not see anything to do. You have to come back home. So everywhere is empty. We still have the transporters on the road, but they're quite few because the customers are not there. Lagos and its traffic right now. Lagos is not a traffic state anymore.
All right. So Lagos residents are obeying all of the government precautionary measures, like the bus drivers are not overloading, taxi drivers are not overloading, and all of that stuff. Yeah.
No, at all. In fact, they are looking for customers right now.
All right. And what is the full pump price like in Lagos? Is it 125 or is it still at 145?
No, 125, and that's actually surprising. We expected that since everyone will be looking for fuel because actually, honestly, NEPA has not been trying yet.
Right.
The power suppliers, they're not trying at all. So everyone, most of the people, they're using fuel. Yeah. So we expected them to increase the price or not even do the 125 thing, but we have 125 everywhere, surprisingly. So yeah. They're trying.
Are bus drivers complaining about what they call these guys, these what they call them now, the guys who collect tickets and all of that stuff?
The Agbers.
Yeah, the Agbers, yeah.
Yeah, well, funny enough, those guys are the ones putting hand sanitizers for passengers.
Oh, interesting.
They're not complaining at all. So you will see them. In fact, they're speaking English right now. If you want to,
no longer Yoruba.
If you want to take any bus, they're the ones that will put hand sanitizer and tell you be safe. And some people are actually rejecting the hand sanitizers, but then they'll say this is the order from Lagos State government. You have to stay safe. You have to stay sanitized. So it's actually crazy here.
All right. One last question before I let you go, Days, because I know you're very busy. The what do you call it now? I was going to ask you, and you just skipped my head now. Wow. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Things like hand sanitizers and facial masks. Are they very expensive?
Okay. Do you still have it? Do I have you?
I can hear you. I said the price of hand sanitizers and what do you call it? Generally, the prices of commodities, are they high? Have they skyrocketed?
It depends on the commodity, actually. Hand sanitizers have skyrocketed by far.
All right.
In fact, we have the smallest hand sanitizer going for about 1,008. When I say the smallest, I don't know how this is measured now.
Yeah.
The smallest.
I know what you mean by the smallest.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's for 1.8. The bigger ones are going for like 18,000 and the rest. So hand sanitizers have skyrocketed. Face masks. You have to get the one that you have to use again, because if you get the other ones, like waste of money since it's expensive.
All right.
Gloves, the prices have doubled. But other wares literally are actually normal.
All right.
Like the food items and all that. It just went up on Thursday, but right now it has normalized.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Daisy. Thank you very much for coming back onto this also. It's nice having
All right.
you. All right, then. Take care.
Thanks.
All right. One last journey to make. But first of all, did you notice that the people of Lagos State obeyed the orders? I was coming to work today.
Okay.
People were still carrying full load. I'm talking about taxi drivers. Full load. I did not check the pump price. I've not gone to check, but I still, somewhere inside of my head, feel like the filling stations are still selling at 145. Are you seeing the difference?
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's the difference is apparent, but you could want to say, or one could say, that could be because Lagos is basically the epicenter of the coronavirus in Nigeria. And so when death stares you in the face, you start to act right and you start to do the things that could save you. Because Nigerians, on a very, ordinarily, we are a stubborn people and we don't want to believe things. We don't want to do the right things until we have to do the right things. The people in Lagos have to do these right things. I think the government has also been a leader by, set some of the policies that they have set and making sure. For instance, I wouldn't imagine that bus conductors in Lagos would be offering you
sanitizers. Yeah,
that's really amazing. And it shows you that the government is trying to do something about it. The people also are cooperating with the government. The people and other organizations like the NURTW cooperate with the government.
All right. Now talking about government being a part of it. There's the caption on the Vanguard where it says that Lagos Assembly passes a law to jail lockdown offenders. So people, religious leaders who go against some of these precautionary measures. Should we see stuff like that in Rivers State? Because all we get to hear is, we've closed down this, we've closed down that. But should we begin to have laws like this where we see people get arrested, like taxi drivers get arrested for not obeying laws? Should we see this kind of things happening in Rivers State? Because that's the difference.
Definitely. Because yesterday I talked about the task force and how they should be deployed to the roads to ensure that taxi drivers and transport workers obey some of the laws that have been set in. For instance, I still see 2 people sit down in front in taxis, and that shows that definitely need to still be 3 people at the back, even the buses as well. So if we can, we already have a force, which is the task force. If we can use them to sort of like enforce some of the laws, it will be good, because people really don't want to obey laws except they're forced to.
All right.
The thing is, yesterday, right, I was talking to a cab driver and everything. I was asking him how he was going about the whole precautionary thing. Having people sit one in front and 2 persons at the back. And he said even when he tried to initiate it with the passengers, they all refused. A lot of them rushed. Yes.
I'm sorry, they refused not to sit at the back.
And apparently, and I've also seen it one time. I think he was driving me yesterday, so I asked him to slow down, right? He said I should just watch, like he was going to show me something. And somehow the other driver, I don't know whether it was a coincidence, was telling the passengers, you know what, it's just 2 persons at the back. And people were like, waiting to happen. You won't go out, just carry them.
Wait, I'm sorry, but I've sort of like noticed that the people of River State or Port Harcourt, because I'm in Port Harcourt, don't really want to believe, or they're taking this seriously.
I feel if we're going to blame taxi drivers, we should also blame passengers who also do not want to adhere to
what if the taxi driver decides now to say, I'm going to stick by the rule? Because, for example, I'll give you an instance now.
Yeah, it could.
A lot of taxi drivers before, the motor parks tax force was set up would pick anybody on the road. But when the tax force started, a lot of taxi drivers said, we would not pick you on the road, even despite the demands from passengers.
You see, that's a funny shift, because right now it should be the passengers who should understand better. So that's a funny shift for me.
That's why I'm saying we need a task force to ensure it, because when there is a task force, the drivers wouldn't even let you get into their car if you're more than the required number, because they know that they could get arrested for this. They could pay some sort of fine for this. So I feel like we should enforce it.
And then talking about in Lagos State, where you have the pump price for 125, right, instead of 145 as we see here in Port Harcourt, it made me think, right, most of these marketers of petrol distributors are almost the same in every state. You find what's the name? I don't want to call their names now, but you find them every other place. So if those ones over there who actually are working with the same distributors and the same finances, right, over there.
It's like a franchise, so it's just the name.
In this product at the same price. So if it's working over there, I think it's just greed to find it not work here. I feel most of these people are just exploiting. And because maybe the government is not really serious, maybe the state's government saying that it's a federal, regulation now, is not serious to make sure that this is actually happening here. That's why it is.
Okay. Now let's bring it back to Rivers State now, because we're setting things, from Canada and from Lagos, and we had that food, because it's essential, was not affected by the lockdown. We also
mean the prices of food?
No, I'm talking about not affected by the lockdown. Because Governor Wike said shut down of all markets, no matter how small.
I was talking to a friend in Asaba, and I was asking how they were, coping with the whole market lockdown and everything. He said, no, they're not locking down the markets yet. That the government said everybody should have, a certain period, go out, get what you want before there is a lockdown. And when that happens, he says that there is a plan to create a mini mart.
Like
what Lagos did.
Yeah, I really do feel like that's the best option, a makeshift market, because most of the marketplaces that we already have in place, like the Choba market, Rumapura market, already go against the laws and the guidelines for the COVID-19. I mean, they are tightly packed of a healthy, place for a gathering of more than
because
20
it's congested.
It's congested,
clustered,
it's tightly packed. I mean, like the way we have. So the best option we would have now is a makeshift market with prices regulated already, where
You see,
people can come and
I feel
and
when
get
the government of
commodities.
Rivers State thought of closing down markets, right, they should have also thought of an alternative for the people.
Well, that's where we're going to. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice
Because
point there.
right now, you're saying that you want to close down all markets on Saturday. I'm hoping that maybe this message should have come up maybe on Monday earlier
Or even last
in the
week.
week, right? So that while you're giving people this information, right,
Yeah.
you're already telling them that when we close down this major markets,
All
there
right.
is a shift market,
All right.
makeshift
Okay,
market,
all right.
or mini
Okay,
mart.
okay,
Some
let-
days
let me pause you
where
guys.
you can go to get acquire food stuff.
Let me
or
push you
anything.
guys here now. It's drastic, you know.
Yeah.
The governor is trying his best to ensure that it does not spread, even though we might be scared that this might spread because we don't still know who the contacts of this index case in River State is or are. But then again, what should he do now that he has closed the markets? Because even Lagos is making up, you know, with makeshift markets. If the president's speech yesterday, he said it would not affect food. So what is he doing? Because a lot
You
of
know-
people are panic buying. And if you had Daisy
Exactly.
said that government is trying to ensure that people do not,
Panic
government in Lagos, by the way, ensure that people do not panic buy.
You
Now-
see, okay, go on.
Okay,
go
I was
on.
going to say, you know, the drastic nature in which the governor closed down the markets has caused people to panic buy.
All right.
Panic buying has caused prices of commodities to be on the
All
high.
right, all right,
Someone
all
was
right.
telling me about how a paint, you know, buckets of Gary as they sell in the market is about. It goes for about 1,000 naira now, and it used to be 400 naira. And so that is a problem already.
All right.
We have the prices already high. So I think the governor now is to come out to sort of like regulate the prices.
You see the funny thing, yeah? Market men and women now know that tomorrow they won't be coming out.
Exactly.
They
So
all
they
want to
want
make that profits today.
Today.
I mean, today is all they have to recover whatever or recoup whatever profits that they, you know,
And they know
put into
people
their
would come
business
as well.
and everything.
All right.
And so I feel like they know that people would panic, people would rush in now and see how they can, you know, gather as much as they can, and they will take advantage of that. And that's not what we need in River State right now.
River State is not obeying stay-at-home order. I mean, a lot of people are still moving around. A lot of people are still going about their normal duties, apart from the governor's order for level 1 to 10 civil servants. A lot of people are still going about their daily activities. But when we talked to the lady in Canada, she said, everybody, apart from people who are going mental, you know, we're staying at home, you know, everybody's at home. Lagos, the same thing. Lagos, one of the busiest
Because-
cities in Africa. Everybody's at home. But, I mean, think about it in
Like I said,
River State.
I feel it's because of the severity of the case that we have in Lagos and the one in Canada as well.
All right.
And also due to the fact, I don't know why, but lots of people in River State don't want to believe that this thing is as serious as
And
we
then the people
say
who
it is.
believe are already panicking.
Exactly.
So you see, it's
So it's so-
extreme
All
on
right,
both ends.
all right, it's extreme, like you said. But then again, if you're listening, if you feel the symptoms, please call NCDC, because even the government is saying that this might explode. It might become a community crisis like we have in the US, in Canada, in China. Why? Because a lot of contacts, you know, to these
Aren't
various
giving
cases
themselves
aren't
that.
coming up, you know, for screening and for testing, and it's really, really a thing to worry about. But any which ways, you should also know that we're still grappling with Lassa fever. I mean, I need to put that out
Yes,
there.
yes,
We're still
yes.
grappling, because I'm looking at this report and it says death toll rises to 176. You know, Wealth asked the question 2-3 days ago. Can we, when we're talking about Boko Haram, can we grapple with all of these things bedeviling our country? I mean, we have terrorism, we have corona, we have now Lassa fever. Really? Can
we have the economy because
Do we
oil
even-
prices are going down.
Thank you very much. Do we even have the health sector to actually, you know, go with all of these things happening at the same time? I mean, there's COVID-19 and there is Lassa fever. Think about it.
You know, I was thinking about this yesterday. I was thinking about our health workers and the nurses and the doctors that we have in the country, and something came to my mind, because now they are at the forefront of all of this Lassa
Yeah.
fever, coronavirus. Have we been fair to them? Now, the hazard allowance for a health worker in Nigeria is 5,000 naira. 5,000 naira. That is if you mistakenly
I get where
contract
you're-
the
I
virus.
get where
or
you're
if
coming
you-
from.
The
I get
hazard
where you're
allowance is
from. Yeah, I
5,000.
get
Have
where
we
you're coming
been
from.
fair to them? Because now they're in the forefront of this. There's Lassa fever. We still have,
Which is contactable, by the way.
Yes, we still have the coronavirus, which is blowing up everywhere. Have we been fair to them? Because they put their lives on the line to do some of these things.
All right.
I mean, we really need to look at how we handle things as a government.
Okay, now still on coronavirus, you might have seen the headline: Kiari's health status personnel says federal government, and I'm wondering, these are people who serve or these are persons who serve the people, the masses. Should they not be coming out to come give a situation report? I mean, we saw the same thing happen during the president's time when he was ill and he was traveling to London, and every time Nigerians were asked what is happening, they wouldn't tell us. And now Abba Kyari's situation is also a mystery to us.
It's really sad because even when I saw that particular report, it got me thinking. Like when we had other cases, or as we have other cases, don't we see a daily report? Don't we see, a follow up to make sure that we know what's going on and all of that? I mean, what's so personal, seeing that it is a global pandemic? It is something that everybody needs to, so we understand what is going on with our chief of staff.
I mean, the prime minister of the UK came out. He did a live video. And he said, "Oh, I got it. I don't get them.
But the stigmatization is
who's
not
going
there.
to stigmatize him? He's the chief of staff, for God's sake."
The people in the healthcare centers who have already contracted this particular disease, right? Have they been stigmatized?
But
they are in isolation. Who has the time to start stigmatizing anyone?
We don't know their name.
See, the truth is,
we don't know their names,
we don't
know their names, but we've been updated severally on what's going on with them.
We've been updated. Now, look, it's not like we're not still updated about them.
Nobody
is one of them now.
I'm sorry. That's a wrong.
I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere now.
All right.
We have been receiving reports from the NCDC about people.
Yeah.
Now, Abba Kyari apparently is one of those people.
All right.
We're still receiving reports about them.
All right.
Hence, on the longer run, indirectly,
you don't get it. You don't get it. These people.
Now, if there is anybody who should come out to give us daily reports about Abba Kyari himself, it should be Abba Kyari and not the NCDC.
Wait now. The other people who have contacted are not public servants. Now, I'll give you an instance. President is negative. They were quick to say it, and they are quick to give us updates that the president is still in charge. That's another headline somewhere in one of those newspapers. They are quick to give headlines because it's negative. At that point, is the president not entitled to his privacy?
It's not a personal information.
Wonderful.
Time.
Really, think about it.
Even when they don't give us the names of these people, you see sometimes when NCDC comes out, they tell you the index case is recovering, the case that had, like, they just give you pre-information on what's going on, and you get to follow up with all the cases that have been reported.
Have you noticed since he contacted it, we've not been having the daily briefings? I mean,
we've been having them.
When did you?
Them. We have 65 cases now.
I'm talking about the Minister of Health. The Minister of Health.
When people have been asking about his whereabouts.
All right,
some people have gone on with conspiracy theories.
Interesting now. But as a reaction to what we talked about yesterday in the second half, where we talked about if pastors should be out there doing more than they are doing already. The Redeemed Christian Church of God has donated some things. We need to put that out there. Some things to the Lagos state government, ventilators, and some other things and materials for. But then again, who goes by the name? Wait, I need to check that now. Sorry, give me a minute. He said he should come. Say, who are sick and weary, come and meet me. And I'm not joking. I'm looking for
leave your isolation center.
He said the government should bring them. I'm not really joking now. I'm looking for the story. He said, come and you get healing.
While you're looking for that story, still trending on Twitter is the issue with TB Joshua.
Yes,
he says that tomorrow, right? He said by tomorrow we wouldn't be having any cases of COVID-19. So a lot of people are already reminding him that was just a few.
It's not 27th. I think it's 27th.
He said 27th.
Yeah, so today's 27th.
So yesterday he said today. Said tomorrow, which is today.
All right. So a lot of people are already reminding him that we have few hours to go, and we're hoping that this is for real.
Oh my!
But then again, I'm one of the people who would hope that this is for real as well.
Yeah, so. I do hope it is for real.
I can't find this story. Oh my gosh, what a bummer. This is not good for me because I really wanted to. But then again, I guess you guys have seen the Gaba Shehu letter that was said to be from the president. I don't know what your reactions are about it, where it was, extolling the people, the various state governments and the people who are out there who have been ensuring and putting precautionary measures that people in Nigeria don't get to suffer for suffer the effects of COVID-19. Talking about the Minister of Finance, talking about the NCDC, and he also pledged 10 billion naira to the NCDC and 5 billion naira to Lagos State. I think, or am I mixing it up? I think it's the other way around. But what do you think of the response from the president? You should also remember that Femi Adesina also said that the president not speaking up until now, or giving the live broadcast, is that it is a style of governance.
Yes, yeah, they say
so
that.
I don't know what you guys think of that,
Okay,
because
for me, like,
I feel like it's
very simple. It is a good one if they are not just pledges, and if it happens, if it comes into free trend, it is a good one. Just coming quite late. We should have had this quite early. It's coming quite late, but it is definitely a good one if it gets to happen, and if it gets to the people who need them the most.
Yeah, talking about pledges, kudos to all of the celebrities who've been coming together
Also,
and
yes,
giving
yes,
out money.
lots of people.
Some of them would be Run Town, and
Yeah,
I'm
Run
trying
Town,
to
10
remember the
million
other.
naira.
Yes.
Peruzzi as well.
Don Jazzy.
Yes, so
Jazzy,
I do
yes.
feel that is amazing to see that. I mean, they're giving back to society in a time of dire need and all of that. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Now, I've seen it. Now, refer anyone with coronavirus to me for free treatment. Bishop Sam Zuga. Bishop Sam Zuga of House of Joy Ministry, the founder of both Sam Zuga Free Medical Treatment and Sam Zuga International, has offered to treat anyone with coronavirus free of charge, and also said anyone with coronavirus should be referred to him for treatment.
Did he say he was going to treat them?
Yeah,
or
he
was
said
going
so.
to pray for them.
No, he said he was going to treat them. He's going to treat them.
He doesn't have a cure.
But you see, that's what we're trying to point out to a lot of people yesterday when they were beating us up. I just needed to put that out there so that they would know that their pastors would beat their chest and say, we're going to heal you. And I want to see them in the forefront of the war against coronavirus. As simple as that.
Well, this one, Pastor Zuga,
Like I said, he was responding to what we talked about yesterday. But then let's open the phone lines and let's get to hear from you some of the issues that we have talked about on the show. And before the show ends, I will play a sound clip from the UK, a friend of mine in the UK who told me about some of the measures put in place. You will be shocked that the government is going individually giving people money for their upkeep because of COVID-19. I wonder if that's ever going to happen in Nigeria. The numbers to call in are 0817 0000951 and 0810 951 951. Of course, you can send in your text messages to the number 0701 933 9962. All right, 95.1 FM. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, Mr. John. Good afternoon.
Mr. John, welcome.
Yes, talking about our preparedness and the effort made by government so far.
Okay.
Yes, in our country here, we should not lose the focus that we don't have money like the first world country that you all mentioned. But then we are doing our best. Even the United Nations, the World Health Organization, have recommended the steps taken so far by Nigerian government to curtail the spread of coronavirus. So let us not talk down on our country. We are trying our best.
Have we talked down on our country? We haven't talked down on our country.
We are doing our best. And even our president himself, we should not be so eager to hear him talk. He's not the type that talks too much. He's a very quiet person. He likes to give assignments to people, allow them to do the assignment. So that has been his style. We are used to him. So him not coming out to be addressing us on daily basis, for me, is not a problem. What I want to see is action. I want to see ventilators. I want to see centers where people can be isolated. I want to see those things on ground. I want to see assistance to states and all the areas that are hit, like Lagos, just as he has done, the 10 billion naira. So all these things are things we have to, look out for. Not actually talks, theatrics and drama on radio, no.
All right, thank you.
Want action.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joe. We've got to move on now. Thank you very much. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where are you calling from? Yeah.
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Andy.
All right, Prince Andy, welcome.
Yes. Yes, you are recognized. See, our government is not really prepared at all. Let me use River State as a case study. It's not just about clamping down on the market women, clamping down on everything, no motor coming in and going out. How will people survive? Just like you people have been discussing in the studio. Now, if you see the panic buying, you begin to wonder. I have ordered my tenant in the village not to sell my gari again. Let her keep it and bring it back for me in Port Harcourt. Because what is going on here is terrible. And come to think about it, our governor don't even have the right to climb down on anybody. If he really wants to, let him.
He actually has the right. He actually has the right.
No.
He has the right to declare a state of emergency. Don't say.
No. If the president is the person that has that right to declare a state of emergency, now go to Lagos. Go to Lagos. I'm coming. Lagos have an act, coronavirus act. They pass through their House of Assembly in climbing down on whatever they think is necessary. If our governor wants to do that, let him pass through the Rivers State House of Assembly. Go to your Constitution Section 4. Rivers State House to bring out a law that if anybody found wanting or violating that law, then you will be arrested. It's not just the governor sitting at
sorry. When let me ask you a question. When a government, have you heard any time when any governor in Nigeria declared a curfew? I mean, is it in Kaduna State there is a curfew, there's a night curfew where people don't get to move, and those are measures put in place. And like I said, I believe he has the power to do that because he's the chief security officer of the state. And it is his duty to protect the lives and properties of people in Rivers State.
I agree with you. So what happens if they violate that?
Then they will be arrested. Just like when a curfew is being put in place.
There is no law, Canada. If you drop, you just go and make a research. There is no law that empowers him to arrest somebody. If he wants that, let him come out with a law. But outside that, that's not even my point of
But he has given
an order. I don't get where you're coming from. He's given an order.
Okay, fine. Let us leave that. My point of argument is that what depends, let him also equally give us a statement like, okay, the federal government has not released anything, but meanwhile, go home with 10,000 from the generated revenue, or look for any other way. It's easy to climb down on all these things, talk on it.
All right. Thank you very much. We gotta go. You spent 3 times. Thank you. 3 minutes rather. Thank you very much for calling in. Keep your calls coming in. This one. Lost that one. Call back in 0817 000 0951 and 0810 951 0951.
95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Wealth.
Yes.
Welcome.
My brother is staying in the UK, and the UK they don't have oil. Their own is total lockdown because if they started early for this locking down in the UK. Their own number is increasing every day. You say you look at the window, the only people you see that people is jogging, or people that want to buy small things. But this total lockdown now, without anything, they say they paid some of them 2 months. Even though when they start work, they will still be collecting it from their salary. But here, they don't seem to show for it. President Muhammad was currently where is he now?
Where
is he? Nowhere to be found. People are protecting him. His brother. They should come out and do something. People are hungry now. They have started.
Thank you.
Campaign promises. Give them rice. Give them 10,000 naira. Shameless people.
All right. Thank you very much. Don't do that. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where you calling from now?
Hello.
Yeah. Welcome. What's your name? Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. My name is George. Calling from Emoa local government.
George. Welcome.
My brothers and my sister over there. I am just concerned about the lady you caught from Canada. What she told us that the Canadian government is concerned about their citizens first. You can see the proactiveness of that government, that the government that is planning ahead of time, that I'm planning for the citizens. And I want to also say that why people are not keying in government policy is because government themselves, they are not sincere. In the sense that, in the case of Abia, he went to Falling Tree. With the guideline, that was the process that told him that when you come, try to
isolate yourself.
Isolate yourself, understand me? He refused. He's one of the makers of the government, the frontliners in the government, disobeying such law. I think if the Lagos State have made that law, I also want to tell Nigeria if they can also make a law that at least will not believe on this government policy and have that intention and it came back. Understand me? I think the law should hold you responsible.
All right, then.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you very much.
And I want to say,
no, we've got to move on now. Thank you very much. There's no time. 95.1 FM.
Hello, Canada.
Jima, welcome.
Yes, Canada. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon to you.
Canada is quite unfortunate. His fight is happening. It's appalling that Mr. President cannot come out clearly and speak to Nigeria.
Femi Adesina said it is his style,
Kalada,
right?
excuse me. Why can't Mr. President, is there anything they should come out clear and tell Nigeria what is the situation? Nigerians are eager to know the situation and the whereabouts of their president.
Say you are eager to know. Say you are eager.
If it is in self-isolation, let us know. You understand?
All right.
That is what we're asking for. Honestly, we are disappointed in this government. Honestly, Canada, I'm so disappointed.
All right.
Let them come out clearly and tell Nigeria what is the matter with the Mr. President.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in. 95.1fm. What's your name? We lost that one. Do we have text messages?
All right. For our WhatsApp, we have here. Good afternoon, Kalada Wealth and Bolu. I am Ogolo's Cake from Igruta. The truth is that we in River State are naturally stubborn. How can the government give an order about the number of persons to be carried in a taxi, yet passengers still enter the taxi in order to flaunt government orders? For me, let the task force arrest both the drivers that carried the 2 at the front and the 3 at the back, including passengers inside the vehicle. All right. This other one says, good afternoon. I'm Ernest from Woji. When the rest of the world have turned their churches to hospital, our own pastors are here claiming to have cure for coronavirus. Why? Are they waiting for the corona patients to come meet them, or did they not see as an Islamic cleric in Iran went to the hospital to touch 6 persons? Okay. All right. Quickly, this one says, I don't believe everything. Don't believe everything you hear from Asur Rock. They lie even to themselves.
All right.
Okay, you're saying too much things that probably doesn't need public scrutiny, so I'll just let it slide. All right. But then we'll go back to the phone lines. Yeah.
Hello, 95.1fm. What's your name and where are you calling in from?
My name is Joshua. I'm calling from Romania.
All right, Joshua, all the way. Welcome.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is that they are not actually looking at, as in the right point they should be looking at on how to deal with this issue. You know, the people that are the prime target of this I'm coming.
You said you asked, I said I don't know.
Okay. Are the elderly and those that are sick, those that have medical issues already, health challenges already. So why not look for a way to isolate those people first? Like the churches around, stadiums around, you go to look for a way to pull out those people out of the society first, and they check them and isolate them, because those are the people that are targeted.
But since the facilities are not available, they are asked to self-isolate.
Excuse me, you can't wait for the facility. You have to do with what you have on ground.
How many
old people we have?
Will you be able to isolate?
Even if they are the old 200 or something, about 200 or something million people in Nigeria that are the old people, it's better you take them out now.
The question is,
where are you going to put
how many 200 million old people can you isolate, and
Thank
where
you very
will you
much.
put
Where
them?
will you put them?
Let me ask you a question. How many churches do we have around?
Do you think the churches can contain all the old people? Anyway, Trace, thank you very much. Anyway, thank you very much, Joshua, for calling in.
He said, how many churches do we have around? Are we going to cluster them in the churches? You're talking about isolating them, right?
All right then. Let's hear from the guy from the UK, and that's how we will round up the show this afternoon, the first half of the show. And when we come back, we'll be talking something. Should I call it interesting? Should I call it absurd? Should I call it weird? Should I call it
all-encompassing?
Okay.
Maybe that's a fit word.
I like the way you use grammar, Thank you very much. All-encompassing. It makes me laugh. It makes me angry. It makes me feel stupid for being... Okay, let's not do that now. But you listen to what my friend from the UK had to say, and when we come back, the news update, and after that, today's hustle's second half. Stay tuned. My bed is ready.
UK, and as I speak to you now, we're presently on what we call lockdown. So essentially, a lot of people call it quarantine in this, but whether you go there or not, the government has said that everyone who's not a non-essential worker, that's not a key worker, that you don't either work in the National Health Service or police or fire brigade or a driver who's driving ambulance services or who's supporting delivery of goods and services, you're derived not to be a non-essential worker. So in essence, they've reduced significantly about 90% of the UK workforce, so that there's just about 10% that's working out there right now. What is the aim of this? The aim of this is to reduce the amount of people out there touching each other, spreading the disease. It's all about self-isolating. It's all about reducing footfall out there and people, the contact between people. And it's important because one person can easily spread it to 5 people, 10. Also announced it that first $37 billion. I'm using dollars because Nigerians, I know, we like to use dollars rather than pound. A $37 billion fiscal plan. Now, the new minister initially, before COVID-19, had already done a budget. However, he had to react because it was such a fast-moving pace. So, among this fiscal plan included a tax cut for retailers, cash grant to small businesses, a mandate to provide sick pay for people who need to self-isolate, and a subsidy to cover cost of sick pay for small businesses. So you can imagine a small business now, you are running a small shop, and all of a sudden you have to self-isolate for 14 days. You have literally no money because nothing is coming in from sale. So the government is looking at ways, with measures whereby they can put cash in people's hand directly. However, this was not deemed enough. So the March 17, he unveiled another bigger package, which is a 379 billion grant in loans to small businesses. Now, $379 billion in grant to loan small businesses is massive, because that way you'll be able to support these businesses who are suffering, because essentially 85% of businesses now in the UK are closed. So there's no income coming in. So the government realizes that we can't save all businesses. However, we need to support them when they get back on their feet. And it could be in the next 6 to 8 weeks or 12 weeks time. However, these guys are going to need capital to run their business, to pay staff, because there's no incomes coming on this time.
When the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Good afternoon, and here is the news update at 2 on Today 95.1 FM. I am Wealth Wilson. President Muhammadu Buhari has saluted public-spirited Nigerians and organizations for standing up to be counted in the battle against the COVID-19 pandemic. The president, in a statement by his spokesman, Femi Adesina, commended members of the Nigerian private sector coalition against COVID-19. He lauded the members of the coalition, namely Aliko Dangote, Abdul Samad, Rabiu of BUA Group, Femi Otedola, Tony Elumelu, Herbert Wigwe, Shegun Nagbaje, and Jim Ovia of UBA, Access, GTB, and Zenith Banks, respectively, for contributing 1 billion naira each. President Buhari recommended the laudable strides to other high net worth Nigerians and organizations, stressing that hand in hand, the country would overcome the challenges brought by the pandemic and chart new courses in nationalism and brotherhood. Meanwhile, senior cabinet members of President Muhammadu Buhari have tested negative to the coronavirus. First is the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Abdullahi Abdul Aziz Mashi. Others are the Minister of Health, Osaje Hanire, Minister Ralph Aregbeshola, Aviation Minister Hadi Serika, Ministry of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, and Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Services, Minister Sadia Umar Farouk. Also tested negative are Finance Minister Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, Minister of State for Finance Clem Agba, Education Minister Adamu, Environment Minister Mohammed Mahmoud, among others. In the meantime, the federal government has said President Muhammadu Buhari's Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, is receiving treatment in a private facility. Minister of Health Osaje Ehanire disclosed this while briefing newsmen in Abuja. Ehanire said Kyari showed signs of the coronavirus after returning from a trip to Germany and Egypt. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Liang, has disclosed that the mission was exploring flight options to evacuate British nationals wishing to leave Nigeria. She said the decision was informed by the rapidly changing situation in the region and recent airport closures over the coronavirus pandemic. The envoy noted that the commissioner has decided to reduce the number of the High Commission staff and dependents. On the foreign scene, 18 people were killed when a truck crashed into several cars south of Egyptian capital during a nighttime curfew put in place because of the coronavirus outbreak. State media reports that the cars were stopping at a checkpoint on a ring road in Giza when the speeding truck drove into them. The Egyptian government has warned that the violators of the curfew would be liable to penalties, including imprisonment under emergency law in force since 2017 after deadly church bombing. And that's the wrap of the news updated to today's hustle continues with Wealth, Kalada, and Bolu. Stay with us. Thank you for listening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Have you heard that coronavirus has been confirmed in Nigeria?
My brother, don't panic. The Federal Ministry of Health and Nigeria Center for Disease Control have advised that everyone should do the following to stay safe.
Tell me.
Wash your hands regularly with soap under running water. Use hand sanitizer if there is no water. Cover mouth with bent elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose the used tissue and wash your hands immediately. Avoid touching eyes, nose, mouth with unwashed hands. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces such as door locks, tables, and chairs.
You don't mean it.
Avoid close contact with sick persons or anybody coughing or sneezing.
Please, Mary, what are the symptoms of coronavirus?
Any person infected with coronavirus can have fever, cough, difficulty in breathing, and shortness of breath.
Don't panic. Coronavirus is preventable. If you have traveled to any country with reported local or community transmission, stay indoors and away from people for 14 days. If you develop any of the symptoms mentioned above, call the Nigeria Center for Disease Control NCDC toll-free line 0800-97000010. Share information about coronavirus only from verified sources like the Federal Ministry of Health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, and the World Health Organization WHO. This message is from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control NCDC, the Federal Ministry of Health, and partners.
This is today's hustle. One show that embodies objectivity. We raise the bar in examining the good, the bad, the sordid, everything that has to do with society.
In America, you buy a big house and you pay gradually for 30 years of your life. That is politics. In Nigeria, you carry all your salary and go and rent one room. Bad politics.
Everything that has to do with
you
society.
must negotiate. If we don't negotiate, when a man is pushed to the wall, he bounces back with double levels. We have been pushed to the wall.
The Hustle. Every weekday from
1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
on Today 95.1 FM.
All right, 6 minutes gone into the hour of 2, and you are still tuned to Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Yes, we are your premium talk radio station. I am Kalada, and with me in the studio is... all right, and...
Well.
All right, it's time for us to push the conversation up a notch. It's time for us to talk, and like I always like to say, talk for development, because if we as a people will keep silent, then we will cease to exist. All right, so we're going to be, I wouldn't want to say talking about COVID-19 per se, but it still would relate to it in a way. in a way, it's still going to relate to it in a way. We've been talking about the measures put in place by government and what government can do to cushion the effect of COVID-19 on, citizens of Nigeria, especially when it has to do with the economy. And we mentioned that, for instance, government, the 37 billion naira for the renovation of the National Assembly complex should be, put back into the fight against COVID-19. We also mentioned maybe this House of Rep members and senators, would have a slash on their allowances and what do you call the salary, so that the people would not feel the effect. But lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, the news that we are receiving is something else. It's something else.
Sad.
Well, it's always been a cry by everybody that seeing that there is an emergency staring the face of the people and the nation as a whole, the economy basically, that we would see a reduction in certain places, and then we would see sacrifices made by certain people. And then just to, loud those people as well, we have a few Nigerians, high net Nigerians with their worth and everything who've come out to contribute as well. I am expecting that most of our public office holders who also have been privileged to make a whole lot from this country would also do same as well. And then to think that before now, I think it was Sirap who called on the federal government to, divert the funds for the national complex in the fight against the COVID-19 and a few other funds as well that, probably were not so necessary. I mean, they filed a suit against the National Assembly, because of the monies that were, earmarked for certain things. And a lot of Nigerians, not just Serap, a lot of Nigerians, myself inclusive, would have expected that out of the benevolence and kindness of their hearts, right, out of the thoughtfulness, right, because they're here to serve us, so they should be thoughtful towards us. So I was expecting that should have been the next line of action. I was expecting that somehow we would hear that the Senate, National Assembly would say, okay, we're skipping payments, payments for this month, so that we'll be able to, fight this particular pandemic.
So some
and
people
cater,
can stock their houses,
cater for the average Nigerian. Or I was expecting that they would come out and say, you know what, we no longer need the 37 billion naira. I mean, what are we using it for? It's just the national edifice.
To buttress your point now, you know how we said yesterday, I mean, that was Bolu's point yesterday when he said that the pastors have benefited from the people, and so the pastors should give back to the people that they have benefited from, even if it means just giving back to their church members alone, right? And by the way, I had some other radio stations talking about our conversation yesterday, but it's cool. Pride will not kill me. But anyways, the same way the pastors should be giving back to their members, like Bolu pointed out yesterday, I feel the lawmakers, representatives of the people, remember, they're representing the people, they should also give back to the people they represent, because if the people they represent all die from COVID-19, who are they going to represent?
You see, the funny thing is that I think that was yesterday. The National Assembly had a meeting with Ahmed, Silva, and Mefile, that's the CBN governor, talking about failing economy, which means that they do know that the economy is failing and needs reviving.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And somehow, well, I'm going to let you break that news to everybody.
No,
but
let's
somehow,
let's break it together. Let's break it together. You do the honors now.
All right, somehow, still coming from the Punch newspaper, we have that the reps take delivery.
The House of Reps. You're not doing well. The reps.
Okay.
Our representatives.
Emphasize
now.
Yes.
Our representatives.
I mean, with everything that's going on in the world right now, with everything going on in Nigeria now.
Let me do it.
You know my problem.
Let me do it.
Okay, just go on now.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening, right? Now, House of Reps. I mean, the people you stood under the sun and under the rain to vote into power. I mean, House of Representatives. The people representing you in the lower chamber of the House. Yes, those people.
Took an oath.
They swore and said they will put you. How did they put it? We are with the people's mandate, and we will secure the people's mandate. The people's mandate have been given to us, and we will not joke with it. Those same people that said they will put the people paramount. The people come first in an emergency situation, in a season of crisis, in a pandemic. Some people say the world is coming to an end.
At this point where everybody's supposed to, you remember the Michael Jackson song, "We Are the World"?
We are the world. Yeah, where everybody's supposed to come together to
okay,
help
so I don't
each
know
other.
the lyrics to the song, but yeah, you get my point.
Yeah, I get your point, sister,
right? So
for
the
sure.
idea is, no, like when I think about it, and I remember that just yesterday, these same people were crying over the failing economy, were begging and trying to see, according to them, ways how they can revive the economy, talking about the average Nigerian and what the face of the average Nigeria would be and everything. These same people, individuals.
So now you understand why so many people don't believe politicians, right?
I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I don't believe politicians.
I see.
That was very outright.
Straight to
but
the point.
anyways, what we're trying to talk about, these same House of Reps members who you voted into power to serve you have, should I say stolen from you? Should I use that word? Or should I say...
Let's not say stolen.
Played you? Or should I say... I'm looking for the right word, by the way.
Something else.
Yes, priority.
Prioritized.
I mean, before
and
now...
then that's playing you.
Let's say, okay, before now, we didn't know that this would spread this much. We didn't know it was going to be this way. Yeah, so they decided they were going to get exotic cars. Yeah, we screamed, we shouted.
Let the cat out of the bag.
We screamed, we shouted, and then we were like, okay, you know what? We don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, and everything. Why do you need exotic cars that will cost this much? I mean, the latest version and all of that.
I mean, we said do made in Nigeria, and they said, no, we can't drive made in Nigeria. It's too big for that, yeah?
And somehow, it was like the universe wanted to, play with us. The universe gave us what's it called? Coronavirus, COVID-19.
COVID-19, yeah.
Yeah, and it came in. It got to Nigeria. Nigeria started to suffer because we started to see panic. Markets were shut down.
Before even the panic, the oil.
Oil prices.
All right. Oil prices went down and everything.
Yeah.
And that was number one, failing economy again.
Right. From number one biggest economy in Africa. All right.
And then there was the talk that we would go into recession as soon as we eventually escape COVID-19.
I should let you preach so often. I mean, you preaching it's touching my soul, Bishop. You're a bishop now. I don't know. It's touching. Oh, God, I give my life to Christ all over again. I mean, keep preaching.
I'm not just let Bolu go.
No. Keep
all right. So apparently, all this happened. Still happening. Probably we don't know how long
what's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Yeah, and we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But somewhere, somehow, these people still find it fit.
Yeah.
They deem it right.
To drive.
They think it is okay.
To drive a Camry 2020 in
a country whose economy would fail after the COVID-19 is done. Over.
Yeah, see the rhyme now. They are driving a 2020 in a situation of COVID-19.
No, just make sure the exotic is there. It has to be there.
Exotic cars. 2020.
These cars are worth 24 million naira each.
17,000, $25,000.
24 million. Just go 24 million naira each. And we have about 400 of them. Correct me. 400 of those cars.
Yes, 400 brand.
And so now, could those monies have been used to develop health facilities, buy us more ventilators?
No.
Dearest brothers in the house.
There are bishops.
Okay, dearest bishops in the house.
Exactly.
Whether or not we want to think those monies will be done to it, because apparently the
cars are being delivered.
Found parts.
I know.
That's
why we're talking about it. The parts.
Do you know the sad thing?
They are in Nigeria.
Do you know the sad thing for me? We have this predicament now. The price, we don't have enough ventilators in the country. I think we have about 400 to 500 ventilators.
Sorry. Now, before we talk about it, she just raised a very important point. How did those guys get packed in? I mean, where did they pass?
I was going to go there. I don't understand what magic happened. I really don't understand.
Do you remember?
Land borders are closed. See.
All right.
Borders. Everything closed.
So I'm wondering what, metaphysical
we had this girl is in this period.
They probably got here before the pandemic, and we're just getting to know. They probably got here before the pandemic, and
there's no how it would have.
My point is
okay. You have a point there.
That's possible. They were just waiting for clearance, and now they're beginning to deliver. The point is this: we have the pandemic now.
Should we sell those cars?
No. If they really care about the people, they wouldn't accept the cars. They would donate them, sell them, and donate to them. No. My point is this.
Is it the same cars we're talking about?
The painful part of all of this is this. Now, we are facing a pandemic here in the country. We don't have enough ventilators, which is very important now because this is a respiratory.
Do we have enough test kits?
Do we have
let's
enough
just say
testing
the most.
centers?
Do we have enough
Quarantine
doctors?
centers?
Let's just say the
I
most
mean,
important
Buhari said
equipment.
retired NCDC officials should come
You
back
can
to
imagine
work.
the same government that told us back about 3 months ago that we had enough doctors in the country. If you remember,
We had
the
excess.
minister of labor
We
and
had
employment,
excess. We had
yes,
excess
Christine
doctors.
said we had
And
excess
I'm
doctors.
wondering what incentives the federal government have put in place for these doctors and these health practitioners.
I
who
told
would
you now.
be,
I said
helping us as
I
well.
said health hazard is 5,000 naira.
Good for
I
us.
told you.
Okay.
So
And-
what I'm trying to
and
say
one,
now,
one House of Rep member is driving 24 million naira.
24 million naira. That's
Or
about
thereabout.
that's about $25,000. Now,
Alright.
each ventilator costs $17,000. Now you're buying 400 cars.
400
cars. Each
400,
of those cars costs $25,000. We have about 500 ventilators in the country. There have been complaints that we don't have enough. We have just 6 here in River State. Imagine buying 400 and more, because each ventilator costs $17,000. Remember, and the car they got costs 25,000. Imagine getting
you're going to get 400 and more. Actually,
more
400 and
ventilators. 400 and more.
It might even
About
get
almost
more, maybe like 100 now.
Yeah,
100
almost
more.
about
That's
500
yeah.
ventilators
Wow.
in different states in Nigeria. And
I should
Now-
make you the Titan
You see,
offering.
you see,
member in
you see the
church,
question
yeah.
we need to ask, that we want you to answer within yourself. Let your conscience be the one to answer this question, right? With all that you see, number one, are you proud of defending these persons? Because I tell you, when there's a problem, you need to see
You
the
come
way
out
most of this.
APC, I be APC, I be PDP.
And then next time when there is an election, will you vote because somebody is giving you 5,000 naira or even more,
That's
or
the tragedy.
probably less? Do they give a bag of rice or
Yeah,
do they
yeah,
measure
some-
it?
they
They measure
give
out
some
rice.
places they measure, some places they give a bag
So
of rice.
they even give you oil.
And
don't worry.
now you question yourself. I hope that rice will be enough for you now while they're driving that.
See,
do you know the
exotic
tragedy?
car.
There's
And-
this
and do you
song
know
I'm
the
looking
worst
for. Ide penny me kankao.
It reached
Why can't-
me out.
I-
Do you know-
I'm
do you
looking
know?
for it. I can't find it. But go
The
ahead.
tragedy and the sad part is that these people, my brothers and my sisters, Nigerians, would still vote for these same
Set of people, yeah.
No, it's
These
not. It's
same
not.
set of
I think
people.
what we should say is, with all of this going on, and with more to
But do you
come,
know you guys
we
have been
will
judgmental?
still-
They still have
we will
some
still
supporters.
forget.
Do
We
you
will
know?
still
But
forget
you guys
this.
have been
doing-
You see this particular incident, it will be swept away with the wind.
Yeah, it will.
Because apparently in the coming elections, the same people will come out campaign
Uh-huh,
and give
of
you
course.
more reasons why you should vote them and all, and we would forget.
We
will forget. It
Are you
is
sure?
a fact.
Are you sure we forget, or they give us something else to think about? Because we don't forget, then they give us 5,000 naira. Then we have 5,000 naira to think about. People
okay.
don't forget. People just want to
Look the other way.
They give you 5,000 and give you a bag of rice.
Okay.
And
okay.
you know,
okay.
you know when,
Let's look at it from this angle because
Okay.
you guys, I think we've already shredded the legislators.
Oh,
But
because we're angry.
Let's come back. Let's come back to the neutral ground now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you guys keep your anger? Can you keep your anger a little bit? All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, I like the way you did that. Yeah. Now, imagine everybody's supposed to be in self-isolation. So where are they
Why are you driving?
Where are you driving in Castle? One question. Another one is this. Another one is this.
Oh my God.
They quickly, I don't know if you've seen that video of a senator who removed his mask
to sneeze.
and sneeze. Everybody was like, what is happening? What is happening?
What is the essence of you wearing the mask in
All
the
right.
first place?
So they are scared of COVID-19. They are
Yeah,
scared. That's why I'm saying this.
definitely. Mhm.
And yet,
There's panic.
they still,
Somehow.
actually, that's why they went on recess. And yet they still somehow want to take possession of cars, material things. My question is, should we at this time be demanding from our legislators and saying, you know what, you're representing us, you shouldn't be enjoying when we're suffering? Because a lot of them have their houses stocked up, they have bags of rice, they have bags of these, bags of that, even bag of sauce if they have. If this thing goes for 1 year, they are up and running. Think about it.
Canada, there's only so much the people could do. There's only so much you could demand from them. It falls back. The onus falls back to them.
See,
the people who swore an oath. Do you understand? The people who fine we might come out to say, oh look, you promised to represent us.
If it
the
was
people
me,
have talked. The people have talked and
Let me
talked
not
and
even
talked.
say what
Canada.
happened.
The people have come out
Easy
to
does
say.
it. All right, just relax.
I'm so angry right now. People have. I mean, what do we do every day? Yeah, we come here, we hustle, we talk about things, we talk about these things, we talk about how much the cost of governance. The same people, like Wealth pointed out, came out to talk about how the economy is failing. Oil prices are going down. We have a pandemic situation in the country.
You know, the
More
idea
people are
is to
getting
make us
infected.
feel like they care. I feel that's just the idea.
Like
because
they care and they're getting
because
caught.
there is no how you would call for a meeting, have people sit down, let's talk about the economy.
I mean,
we don't want
they
this
almost
to happen to us
arrested the
and
CBN
everything.
governor for not coming to.
I tell you to talk about the
to talk about the economic solutions is preferring for COVID-19.
And to think that we're yet to hear what stimulus they have, you know, or palliatives they have for the citizenry. I mean, because of the pandemic,
is
right?
our
We're yet to
constituency
hear.
project money?
Are you still talking about that one?
Okay.
The one that even the president said that
Okay.
they actually used to siphon funds.
Okay.
This is
They-
the
we
time
all
And
we
know-
somehow
need.
we all know.
agreed that they should be giving money for constituency
This
projects.
is
This
the
is Nigeria.
time we need it.
These same people are probably still collecting allowance, probably still collecting sitting allowance, probably still collecting some sort of allowances that we don't even know about. These same people that swore.
Let's not use local balances now. I was going to say something, but let's just open the phone line because there are so many things that I am filtering from coming out of my mouth. There's so many.
I feel
things.
like it's needed.
No,
certain things.
before I lose my job, and I mean this. Anyways,
All right, before we open the phone lines,
We
I'm
got
going to
text
quickly
message.
read this text
All right,
message here.
all right.
This one says, Canada, I am very angry, so no greetings. And that's what I saw, and I thought I should just read his message. Now, can you remember Obasanjo called National Assembly members thieves, whether reps or Senate? It's not me that said it, according to him.
Yeah, you had to put that.
They are
Yeah.
really selfish. God will surely deal with them, if not now, later. And this is coming from Stallone. Now we can open the phone lines, and then I'll read them.
But do you know something that a lot of majority of the cases right now are these politicians and big men who have the coronavirus. I mean, very few cases.
They're panicking. They're in panic mode, but they just want to still receive their cards.
So
Trust me, most of them
cards reduces
most
the
of them
panic.
have isolated. I mean, do you think these people don't care about themselves?
Oh, now I get it. That's why we got to see the cards because they were scared to come out and take their cards. You have a point. You have a point. 0817 0000951 and 0810951091. Your text messages to the number
0701 and 9339-962. Send the messages. WhatsApp messages. We'll be here to read them and take your calls as well.
All right, so let's have your view on this issue that we have reviewed. Yeah, 95.1fm. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
This is Pastor Dewumi on the line.
All right, Pastor Dewumi, welcome. All right.
I want to let you people know one thing.
Okay.
The problem we have in Nigeria is our leaders. Any nation that will succeed and survive, number one thing they need to achieve is steady light. Steady light is what God in heaven first of all achieved. Then number two thing, farming, that is agriculture. Then number three, we need to control the population of our nation. One man to one woman with 3 children with database. And in that database, as this coronavirus is hitting the whole country now. So they need to tell all Nigerians that go and get your BVN, your national ID card number, then your bank account. Send it to so number. And the next thing they will see a lot. Okay, everybody will get 10,000 or 20,000. Then stay at home for 1 week or 2 weeks. So everybody will have peace of mind. There's no provision for stay at home. They say everybody should stay at home within 2 weeks. After 1 week, you will see that people will bring knife and dagger and arrow to the road to attack army and police. No, go.
All right.
People should watch it.
All right.
After 1 week now, even wicked will not be able to go to government.
All right, thank you. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about these guys taking hold of exotic cars, 400 of them, by the way, in a time of crisis, in a time of a state of emergency. And we are wondering, what do you think of it? Should we have them return the car? Should we go carrying placards? Despite COVID-19, because despite COVID-19, they are taking cars. Should we say despite, or should we start an online campaign? But then what about the woman in the village? Does she have Twitter?
Do you know how many online campaigns we've started?
All right, then. All right, you have a point there. 95.1 FM. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Kalada, Bolu, and World. Good afternoon.
Welcome, DK.
Mr. DK.
Thank you very much. You see, for me, I see the hand of God in this COVID-19.
Okay.
Let me substantiate my point.
But we're not talking about COVID-19 and the hands of God.
We are getting to the lawmakers who are going for 200, what do you call it?
2020 Camry.
Not 200, 400.
400 of those.
All right, go ahead.
Because you see, this virus is affecting the ruling class than even ordinary people.
All right.
They are the agents, the vectors that transmit this disease to ordinary people because they have the means through the people's money to travel overseas and come back. Other sicknesses, diseases have been killing people in this country. Nobody cared about it. But this one that is affecting them, they cannot also run overseas for treatment. You can now say that so many chickens have now come home to roost.
To roost or to roast? Anyways, go on.
In the midst of so much suffering, you are still thinking of latest Camry. And that was what the former Senate president did. That is during the time of recession. He was exporting SUV into this country worth millions of pounds. So you can see the kind of callous rulers that we have in this country. So even talk of leaders is a mistake. They are rulers. Callous one for that matter.
All right, thank you very much for calling in, DK. 95.1 FM, what's your name and where are you calling in from?
Salada, my name is Ahusi Chima. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Welcome, Chima.
Salada, I'm in tears. Honestly, I'm in tears. When I saw that headline, honestly, Salada, I'm thinking, could this be true? In the midst of poverty, in the midst of frustration, in the midst of economic downturn, our lawmakers are taking delivery of such exotic cars in this time of the year that the country is even sliding into a recession. Honestly, I'm so disappointed. And these are the same lawmakers who claim that we get to call them to come and listen.
All right, Chima, call us back. Sorry, we can't hear you. Call us back. Sorry about that. 95.1 FM, 95.1 FM.
Hello, Kalada.
What's your name and where you calling from? Ivy, I guess.
Thank you.
All right.
My brother, this is not something that we hope placards. If we hope placards, they will distribute coronavirus to all of us who go there. Because the coronavirus is just roaming around them. For what we have to do, since they are taking delivery of such cars, no worry. God day. See.
See. I don't like that. We've been saying God since I was born. And I've been born a long time now. Not like I'm an old man, but yeah, a long time. And they've been saying God day. And I'm tired. Yeah.
Listen now. Let's get there. There's something is, since they find joy in taking delivery of Camry cars instead of looking for a way that will ameliorate the surface of Nigerians who are going under the surface of this coronavirus.
All right.
And if they've decided to take delivery of cars of billions of naira, no worry, there's a way we'll do them.
What is
tell
the
us.
way?
I like this conversation. Tell us the way. Tell us the way.
You don't need to take placards to the House of Assembly.
Okay.
They are moving down to their constituencies. Anyone that comes to the constituency.
What makes you think they are moving? They are self-isolating.
Even
you mean they would visit their constituencies?
They are
right?
going to isolate in Abuja. They are going to isolate in Abuja. You know this thing.
They'll be in Abuja. Okay, hold on.
No worry.
But have you not seen them visit their constituency before and nothing happened? They carry bags of rice and
with police
and whatever.
Yes.
My sister, were you not in Nigeria when a senator was beaten up in the northern area?
All right.
Yes, a senator was beaten up. A House of Reps was beaten up in a state that he run out of he take the intervention of the governor for that.
All right.
So since they are coming down to this way, and we know that they owe us the responsibility of telling us the policies of government.
All right.
When they come, we will hold them responsible to tell us what are the measures we put in place for God to eliminate the suffering of Nigeria on this coronavirus.
Thank you very much.
So that we'll see those cars.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling in. 95.1 FM.
Hello, Canada.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me now?
Hello, yeah, good afternoon, Chiba.
Yes, Canada. What I'm saying, these are the same lawmakers who claim that we came to call them to come and rule us. At the end of the day, look at what is happening. A lawmaker who has with their reasonable senses, we come and take a delivery of such a car, such a dirty car. At this time of the country, at this time of hardship, everybody is facing hardship in the country. You want to take delivery of such car? That is why I don't take them seriously. Whenever the thing goes the other way around, they want to start activity. I don't take them serious. So these people did not mean well for Nigeria. It is obvious. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling in. All right, 95.1 FM.
All right. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes. My name is Imam Alabam.
Okay.
I'm calling from the Chain River State.
Go on then.
You see, I am totally disappointed by our senators. That is the point. So, it's unfortunate in conditions. You see, this shows that our House of Representatives are fighting for their own selfish interests, which is very unfortunate. Why can't they map up logistics or strategies in the sort of the rate of unemployment and poverty in Nigeria? They are fighting for selfish interests. It's unfortunate. You see, Empower is working more than net. Empower is contributing to Nigeria money senators. They paid 30,000 naira egg. It's unfortunate. Just to give them the appointment, they start to work. But the idea, it's unfortunate. I define such look. I define such as out of barbarity.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. But guys, now, see this now, yeah. Okay. 23 local government areas in Rivers State. Markets to be locked down Saturday 28th, March 2020, right? Mm-hmm. These people with constituency money, with their allowances, could have given 50,000 to their constituents, right? To the people who voted. Now, see, member. I'm a senator. Okay. I'm representing Asari Toro local government area, and maybe another local government. There's a way they do this thing, and maybe two of them have been collecting allowances for. Some of them are second-time senators, third-time senators. I've been collecting money for a long time. Okay. So I could just write to you. Okay.
You have the money.
Yeah.
So you could
or constituency project, for instance, and do 20,000 or 30,000 naira to people out there.
Maybe 50K to. How about you give these people 20,000 naira and you give them bags of rice? Oh, you give them tomato, oil.
We stop will not finish you.
And the truth is, this is not the first time they've been awarded constituency project money, which of course we don't see to materialize to anything anywhere. If we are being sincere, see, there's no help in this case, right? We have seen how they prioritize things. It shows that they don't put us first.
Exactly, simple. Funny enough, now that we do really need the food stuff and most of these things, they won't give to us. But when it's time for elections, they will share rice, they will share oil, they will share sachet tomato, 5,000, you know the drill. And they will share all of these things and expect us to vote for them. Like, it's quite a sad one we have in the country. Let me read some of the text messages. This one says, color down the guys. You see what I repeatedly said. You can see the kind of insensitivity we have in the country. Sorry. What happened? Sent another message again.
All right.
Okay. You can see the kind of insensitivity in our country. I just lack words to describe this. I just honestly think Nigerians should call it quit with these unserious politicians and call for a national conference because we need to talk. I cannot believe this. That message was sent from Frank. He also says, but the most painful aspect is that after these rants by my fellow Nigerians, by 2023, these guys have to come and see people again.
All right, can we do music? All I want to say is that my voice is horrible, but can we do music now?
Okay, let's do music. Probably to suit us, to help us.
You know what? I'll just step outside for fresh air, I guess.
95.1 FM.
Canada.
Lawson.
Yeah, greetings. You have to understand something. Those vehicles have already been paid for before the coronavirus started. When crude oil was hovering at $60-something per barrel.
Okay.
even shipping paid for. So you can't really blame. They are not. It's been ordered long before coronavirus came. You understand? Shipping, everything paid for. So you can't really blame them. They are not. Already the Japanese authorities need to deliver it. So that's what they have just done. You understand?
Sorry. Now, Lostin, remember we had this argument, was it last month, beginning of February, when we said, should they have it? Because they were talking about
that was when the move
They were talking about
came
Innocent or no Innocent. And let's even assume they have paid for it. There's what you call, I don't want again.
I want to sell.
I don't
It's
want
no
again.
refund.
You can. What are you saying?
Are you one of the manufacturers?
You can actually.
Or
and
suppliers?
Probably what they do is maybe give you back your money, but not not in full, because maybe they've done some movement or some expenses. So they give you back and not in full, but you can actually get your money back.
See, understand something. It has been paid for. Everything, their own was just to deliver. You can't go and ask for refund.
You can actually ask for refund. Or you tell them to sell it and give you back the money.
The truth is, when there was a move for the exotic cars, how long ago was it?
By the time you guys were discussing it, it was when it came to limelight. It was,
but that was when the bill for the purchase of cars was being talked about. Because remember they talked about purchasing Innocent, and they said no, we can't drive Innocent.
That is when it came to your notice. You understand? That's when it came to your notice.
They had not paid for it. They had not paid for it at that time.
You said?
They had not paid for it at that time.
See, what I'm saying is that when these cars were ordered, crude oil price was still at $13 per barrel.
That was last month. And we are saying that due to the crude oil, because just not too long after they did, the crude oil price slashed.
Do you know how long it will take a ship to move from Japan and get to Nigeria? Do you know how long?
All right. Let's not have this argument then.
No, see, what I'm telling you is that it takes more than 2 months for a ship to move from Asia to Africa down to Nigeria. So it's something that
it's not. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I decide that. Anyways, let's not have this argument. Let's not have this argument.
What I'm saying is that the vehicles were not ordered right now. The coronavirus.
Okay. So with the arrival of the vehicles, right at the time, had we closed our land, sea borders, air borders, and all?
No, we hadn't. One. But
the law,
the
law, understand something. The law, you understand, is made for man, not man for the law.
Okay.
They are the ones making the laws.
All right. Okay.
So what makes you think that their cars will not enter?
Lawson, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's not every time that we need to the controversy path, and there's sometimes where we just need to look at things and look at it as it is. It was early last month. That was February, where we talked about even the senators, because they were going for their Jeeps, SUVs, and we talked about it just last month. February. So you don't tell me that it took them time to. Do you know we have cargo planes where these cars can come in through? We have cargo planes.
The funds are ready.
What are we talking about?
See,
we could have called the company
and resell the cars. We can sell this
The truth is, okay, fine. They ordered this a long time ago, right? That's the argument Lawson was heated, right? Okay, now the cars have arrived. There is an emergency. There is a pandemic staring us in the face. Do we actually need them to use those cars, or can they sell those cars?
See,
and then recoup certain amount of money.
Selling the cars in Nigeria would.
No, not in Nigeria.
Exactly, my point. Now you're talking. Now those
they
cars
can sell back.
Listen.
To the manufacturers.
Those cars should not have left the ship in the first place. If it came by a ship, if it's plane, should not have left the plane. That's my argument. Because it should have done a U-turn. Be like, see, maybe I should put it in pigeon so they understand. We no go buy again.
You know what?
It's as simple as
that. Even if the companies don't refund, you can send it back and they sell it on your behalf.
That's what we're talking about. People who are legislative system, who's people oriented would do such a thing.
Also, Khaled, as a member of the House of Rep, do I have the right to say, look,
you remember
my own car? No. If I was
a member,
if I was a member of the House of Rep, right? Do I have the right to say, look, my own car, I want to sell it, I want to share it to members of my constituents? Do I have the right?
You have the right, actually.
But none of them have. None.
Ben Bruce did it. I mean, Ben Bruce refused to. The last car, Saraki's time, I think he refused to collect. Said something about car being too expensive and being. I can't remember the details, but I think he did not. 95.1 FM. And I mean, Ben Bruce comes to mind again. He gave out some of his allowances and salaries to Ekiti State during Ekiti State's recession, and it's not from Ekiti State. And then he gave some other part of it to his constituency. So we need to see people like that who are up and running, who are all about the people, who are people-oriented. I mean, even the president, I must say, should be thinking about taking a pay cut now. But let's do the text message.
This one says, what we have aren't representatives, rather scavengers and hunters. Bunch of selfish and self-centered individuals. God would.
Let's move on.
Okay, this one says, amid COVID-19,
God will bless them.
God will bless them. Amid COVID-19, our callous and heartless lawmakers are out to collect their exotic cars. What we have in Nigeria, rulers, not leaders. Kelly from Port Harcourt sent that one. Another one again. Okay, this one says, good afternoon, Kalada. My name is Promise Unwaka from Elele Alimini. Our leaders are so greedy because they took that car because they do not know if they will all die. They took the cars because they don't know if they will all die tomorrow.
So if they all die tomorrow, what would they use the cars to do?
At least they drove to 2020.
It says, I am angry to see that Jamaica, that is close to America, is safe from corona. Why? Okay. This one says, Kalada, it is unfortunate that the reps would think to share cars amongst themselves in this pandemic or this crisis. These are the same people who don't care about their people or their constituents. It is obviously a disappointment, and I am using this medium to call on the electorate to be wise.
Guys, last month,
okay,
majority of our conversation was centered on APC. Remember when we were going to Supreme Court to check Supreme the finality
finality.
APC, and that was all that we could get on radio. But do you see one thing now? That when it came to, for example, when it came to sharing the allocation for the month of February, all the governors in unison rejected what the federal government offered. Whether they were APC, whether they were PDP, they did not care. They rejected it. When it came to local government autonomy, I'm trying to draw a trend now. When it came to local government autonomy, it wasn't APC wants it. No, all of them negated autonomy for local governments. Now it has come to collection of cars. Yes, so in the House of Reps, the principal officers are APC members, but they are PDP members there.
As well. They are collecting.
I mean, after that lawmaker who shouted, what about Made in Nigeria? Have you heard it? I mean, it's going to collect his own, right?
It's going to collect his own camera as well. Okay, this one says, until we start swearing them in with juju, they will never sit up. Quran and Bible cannot fight this battle for us. That message was from Stanley. Thinks we should use our local, juju.
Since we brought that up, what are our native doctors doing about the COVID-19?
Exactly,
right?
native. We talked about pastors yesterday, but the native doctors, what are you doing about the COVID-19 situation in Nigeria? Well, this one says, Kalada, if we cannot deal with these callous rulers, COVID-19 would handle them. And all I can assure you that not all of them will stay to enjoy those luxury cars. That was from DK. And this message, I'm going to the WhatsApp portal now. This one says, we don't have leaders, rather rulers, men and women without conscience, selfish and self-centered. Even if they want this car, not now. They are so insensitive to the plight of the people, insensitive rather to the plight of the people. Tomorrow they will come and canvass for votes.
All right. Back to the phone lines. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where are you calling from? We had a little laugh in the studio. Forgive us. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. This is Countryman calling from Hello.
Please turn off your radio set, please. Turn off your radio set. Thank you very much. Countryman, you said?
Laundryman calling from
Laundryman.
So turn down the volume of your listening device.
Turn it off, as a matter of fact. Wow.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. For what we're talking about, if you look at our legislatures, they are not care of their people. Imagine just as we said now, like today, I went to this Toba market to ask of one basin of Gary. It's 6,000 naira. Something of how much before. But our people are there collecting expensive cars, giving laws. All markets should close. This and that should close. Boundaries, all the whole border should be closed. And they're not care of your people. During the election, they will run around telling people, vote for me, I will do this, I will do that. It's all in vain. To be frank, honestly, we are disappointed to our leaders. They are not helping matters. They are not helping us. Look at price. They have everything on their custody. The poor masses are suffering for nothing.
All right.
During the election, they will call the poor masses to come and vote for them. But when the poor masses vote for them, they will forget us and be enjoying themselves. It's very quite fortunate. We are disappointed on them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, okay. Thank you very much for calling us for the first time.
Right? Anybody who is calling in should just. I think basically we've had a lot of persons to send us text messages that we can't air, right?
Exactly.
So if you want to express the way you feel, I mean, you can do that in a civil way, all right? We would love to read your text messages, but most of them are just not fit to come out, on air like
Come
that.
Come on, constructive languages. You know how we do it on the show, you
Okay,
know? Constructive languages. Let's do a phone line. I mean, the phone line people will be saying we are marginalizing them. Let's 95.1 FM. What's your name and where you calling from?
Canada.
Welcome.
Unlike me, because these people don't mean well for the people they call their citizens. I think you see how much is broadcast, how many of them is there. But I'm telling you, currently, where I'm living here, I'll be running generator. No light. This would don't come out. No light. We are using both. No good health center. So how much is all those things? They cannot use the money and put all these things in place in the rural areas. Mention one good hospital in Ogoni or you will stay here. No way.
Yeah, the governor said he has put something in Ogoni. Don't go there. There's one hospital, General Hospital. General Hospital.
Leave this one wicked. It's not doing anything to show. I'm telling you, I regret why I come from this place. They are calling Nigeria. I'm telling you.
Okay.
What is going on here?
Don't worry.
So
many people share your regrets. Don't worry. But anyways, thank you very much for calling in. Regret will not solve the problem. We need to put our heads together.
It doesn't change your
It
nationality.
doesn't change your nationality. Okay. All right. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello. Good afternoon, Canada. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon to you. Yeah.
I'm from Port Harcourt.
All right then. All right.
See, our senators, those people did not represent us. They represented their family and their family members. Yes. Because in this guy's situation, they are still requesting for something. But I thank God, this God is living this earth. The man is a great man. This sickness, if you check, the people who have this thing have touched starting from the head. Because the Bible said the judgment was starting from the head. The judgment now is starting from them.
Okay, I see.
I thank God.
No, Allah. Thank you very much for that one there. Judgment is starting from the head. Let's see how it goes. I hope it doesn't come to the tail because I'm at the tail side of the judgment. But anyways, yeah. You know how we do it on the show. We will keep you informed even as more developments and updates come up concerning COVID-19. You want to stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM. Right about now, we're having today's hustle with Bolu Ajayi, Wealth Wilson, and yours truly, Kalada. And we talking for development. That's too much I can say. But let's go back to the phone lines and hear what he has to say or what she has to say. 95.1 FM, what's your name?
Hello, Kalada. I'm Chris from Obibo.
All right, Chris from Obibo, welcome. Or Oibo, welcome.
Thank you. It takes a vessel anywhere in the world to bat within 14 to 21 days.
All right, then. Everybody with their theories.
I was on foreign operations desk of a bank, and I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
14 to 21 days.
All right.
So anybody telling you it takes 2 months, let the person tell you where he got that information from. It's not true. The truth is that the people that are there representing us, everybody there is after his own. That is just the truth. They are not bothered about what happens to the ordinary man, the interest of the ordinary man, to make sacrifices for the interest of the country, and for the ordinary man they say they are representing. That is just the truth. From the head to the highest person to anybody there, all of them, they don't care about the ordinary man. Otherwise, how can a country be like this and they are still there sharing cars, exotic cars from abroad? Take local one, they say no. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, honestly. Thank you.
I mean, if they are taking the local one, it would have still been or meant that the money is still in Nigerian economy, right? Wow. All right then. What do I know? 95.1 FM. What's your name and where are you calling from? Yes.
Yeah, my name is George. Calling from Hemo local government area. Canada, I'm not really surprised. You know why I'm not surprised? Listen, when the River State government was telling us that they want to invest in agriculture, they want to do this thing in agriculture. Out of assembly, we want to do agriculture. Now, it's about that this agriculture policy, they are effective in
in Rivers State today.
What does agriculture got to do with what does agriculture got to do with car buying?
No. What I'm trying to say that if I thought the government was proactive in all round education, understand me? If I thought they were,
we're not talking about proactiveness of government. We're talking about
priorities.
Yeah, priorities. We're not talking about. I mean, this is people buying cars. We're not even talking about real estate government. We're talking about that.
That is what I'm saying now. That is what they will engage them. They will engage themselves in their own satisfaction, just like the car aspect you are talking about.
Okay,
if
I get you now.
Can make that money in investing in something that is going to at least improve the living condition of the citizens. What we invest is luxury. Car is more important than.
All right. Yeah, you have a point. You have a point. I mean, this could have been used for ensuring that agriculture is boosted in.
Agriculture is put in place.
I get you now.
You can see where masses can go back to the farm again. Go back to the farm and feed their pets. And feed their pets. No policy like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, look at this thing. Do you know that this will mean, I mean, we are self-isolating, right? Okay. So people can't go to their farms, right? And if people can't go to their farms, it means there will be shortage of food come maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, if it lasts that long, by the way. So do you know what that means for, I mean, when there is food crisis, coupled with economic crisis, coupled with what I feel might happen as well, which is security crisis, because when people get hungry, they begin to think,
about the bad things.
All right, 95.1 FM. I lost that one, did I? Yeah, I did. Do call us back. Let's do the text messages now, yeah?
Okay, so first of all, it says the problem with us media personnel is we don't allow you to give the politicians as hot as they need it.
What does it mean? The problem with us?
I don't know.
Is it media personnel?
Well, it's saying they keep misbehaving, they act like lords, and they don't listen to the voice of the people that made them who they are. They have the right to make hate speeches. Why are the
I know how you feel, right? I know how you feel. What's his name?
But I think what it's trying to say.
What's his name?
He didn't put his name there.
All right.
Well, I think what it's trying to say basically is that, okay, his name is Jacob. Okay, so I feel what it's trying to say basically is like we don't allow them to say certain things that they want to say.
But
that's what
we media personnel.
Media personnel don't allow them to say what they want to say, how they want to say it. And that's why we ask you to try to be constructive in your statements and how you say certain things.
All right. Okay, back to the phone lines. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where are you?
Canada. My name is Chima. Yes.
Chima, you had your time. Chima, you had your time. Allow some other person to talk, right?
Okay, thank you, brother.
Thank you very much because I lost that one. I mean, everybody's trying to put their. Okay, let's do the text messages now.
Yeah, this one says no amount of jaundiced analysis can justify this height of insensitivity on the part of the senators and representatives. There is what is called contractual frustration, which the ongoing pandemic has helped to activate. So if not for their heightened selfishness, what has stopped them from pleading frustration and to stop the delivery of the said cast for the interest of the country, Nigeria? Anthony from Port Harcourt. This one says, greetings house. We don't have representatives or leaders. What we have is triumphs. Oh, what a country called Nigeria we have found ourselves. God see us through from this man. Honorable Malone sent that one. And this one says, prices of things going up and down. The rep members have done nothing for the people to elevate the plight of the people. The only thing they have given us is...
Okay.
I'm not
Phone lines. 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where are you calling from? Sorry? LMA Pathfinder. Did I hear you well?
MNS Transfounder, that's what I'm coming from.
Oh, you're calling from LMA?
MNS Transfounder.
NMS. Okay. Go ahead now.
Okay, yeah. And this issue we are talking about these vehicles. I think they have official vehicles before. What happened to
Yeah, they do. And we talked about that before. And we were hoping that with the coronavirus, they would, change their minds. But no.
I don't even think that majority of them want to use this vehicle. If not for this COVID-19, you will see these vehicles, different people using them. The way our politicians, the way they lobby with women, it is women. Don't give it to women. Just watch and see.
You have a point. Just watch
and see.
You have a point.
Go to Nikon Hotel in Abuja. You see what they do with our girls. Don't give me this vehicle. They will not use it. They have the money. That they can afford the vehicle that is better than this. They have the money.
What is 25 million? They can do more than that, you understand? What are things that because of God will go out of this mess, out of this government, you will see what I'm telling you. You see it's better with them, with those girls.
All right.
So you just, when Superman is coming, I think they were using Superman 250 million, all these girls. Where do they get the money from?
All right. Okay, thank you very much. I was going to ask Wealth a question, but the way she looked at me, I said no. 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.
Canada.
Yes, KSP, welcome.
Thank you.